Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtapraheshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 5, the activities of Sakshi Gopal. So today we are starting this chapter. Text 1. Padbhyam chalanya pratima swarupo brahmanya devo hi shatah gamyam desham yayo viprakrite adbhuteham tam sakshi gopalam aham natosmi. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personality of God, Brahmanya Dev, who appeared as Sakshi Gopal to benefit a Brahman. For 100 days, he traveled through the country, walking on his own legs. Thus, his activities are wonderful. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. All glories to Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Shri Advaita Prabhu. And all glories to all the devotees of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. चलिते चलिते आइला जाजपुर ग्राम वरा ठाकुर देखी करीला pranam. To chalite chalite means then Mahaprabhu started walking from Remuna to Jagannath Puri. So walking and walking, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his party finally arrived at Yajapur on the river Vaitarni. There he saw the temple of Varahadev and offered obeisances unto him. I had to find out where is this Yajapur. नित्य गीता कैला प्रेमे बहुत स्तवान जाजपुरे से रात्रि करीला यापन. In the temple of Varahadev, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in chanting and dancing and offered prayers. He passed that night in the temple. Katake aila sakshi gopal dekhite, gopal saundarya dekhi aila nandite. Afterwards, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the town of Katak to see the temple of the witness Gopal. When he saw the deity of Gopal, Lord Chaitanya was very much pleased by his beauty. So actually at that time, Sakshi Gopal was in Katak. Now Sakshi Gopal has moved. The village is called Sakshi Gopal. It's close to Jagannath Puri when we go from Bhubaneswar to Puri. प्रेमावेश नित्य गीता कैला काटक्षण आविष्ट हया कैला गोपाल स्तव. While there, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engaged in chanting and dancing for some time, and being overwhelmed, he offered many prayers to Gopal. Sai ratri taharahi bhakt gana sange Gopalera purva katha shune bahurange. That night, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in the temple of Gopal, and along with all the devotees, he heard the narration of the witness Gopal with great pleasure. Nityananda Gosai Ave Tirtha Brahmila Sakshi Gopal Dekhi Vare Katak Aila. Previously, when Nityanand Prabhu had toured all over India to see different places of pilgrimage, he also had come to see Sakshi Gopal at Katak. Sakshi Gopal Katha Shuni Loka Mukhe Sei Katha Kahin Prabhu Shune Mahasukhe. At that time, Nityanand Prabhu had heard the story of Sakshi Gopal from the townspeople. He now recited this again, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the narration with great pleasure. So Sakshi Gopal temple is situated between the Khurda road railway station and the Jagannath Puri station. The deity is not presently situated in Katak, but when Nityanand Prabhu traveled there, the deity was present. Katak is a town in Odisha situated on the Mahanadi river. When Sakshi Gopal was brought from Vidyanagar in southern India, he stayed for some time at Katak. Thereafter, he was situated for some time in the Jagannath temple. It seems that in the temple of Jagannath, there was some disagreement between Jagannath and Sakshi Gopal. Not between the pujaris, between the deities. There was some disagreement between Jagannath and Sakshi Gopal, a disagreement called Prem Kalaha, a quarrel of love. In order to settle this love quarrel, the king of Odisha constructed a village about 11 miles from Jagannath Puri. The village was called Satyavadi and Gopal was stationed there. Thereafter, a new temple was constructed. Now there is a Sakshi Gopal station, and people go to Satyavadi to see the witness Gopal. So again, it's a beautiful story about Sakshi Gopal. All his pastimes, how he got from Vrindavan to Vidyanagar in South India, from Vidyanagar to Cuttack, from Cuttack to Jagannath Puri, and from Jagannath Puri to now this place, Sakshi Gopal. And this temple that I showed in the background, that is a Sakshi Gopal temple, the current Sakshi Gopal temple. Purve Vidyanagarera Duita Brahmana Tirthakari Bai Duhe Karila Gamana. Formerly at Vidyanagar in South India, there were two Brahmins who made a long tour to see different places of pilgrimage. Gaya Varanasi Prayag Sakala Kariya Mathurate Aila Duhe Ananditaya. First of all, they visited Gaya, then Kashi, then Prayag. Finally, with great pleasure, they came to Mathura. वन यात्राय वन देखी देखे गोवर्धन द्वादश वन देखी शेष गेला Vrindavan. After reaching Mathura, they started visiting the different forests of Vrindavan and came to Govardhan Hill. They visited all 12 forests. So they are Dwadash one, 12 forests in Braj. And at last came to the town of Vrindavan. The 5 forests situated on the eastern side of the river Yamuna are Bhadravan, Bilvan, Lohavan, Bhandirvan, and Mahavan. Okay. So Mahavan is where Gokul is. So that is Mahavan. And other one, there are different places famous. I'm trying to see what you have been to. So Bhandirvan is where Radha and Krishna got married. Brahmaji performed the ceremony. And then Bilvavan, or it's also called Belvan, where Lakshmi ji is performing tapasya to enter the pastimes, the Ras Lila pastime of Radha and Krishna. And Bhadravan and Lohavan also has some important places. I don't remember right now. The 7 forests situated on the western side of the Yamuna are Madhuvan, Talvan, Kumudvan, Bahulavan, Kamevan, Khadirvan, and Vrindavan. So Madhuvan is where Mathura is. Talvan, if we remember, where Balramji killed Dhenukasura. Kumudvan is small. Bahulavan, then Kamevan. One of these years we went to Kamevan. It is beyond Nandagaon. We can go from Nandagaon and then we come to Kamevan. Beautiful pastime there also. Khadirvan and then obviously Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, I believe Govardhan comes under Vrindavan, if not in Bahulavan, I'm not sure. So there are 12 forests, Vrindavan. After visiting all these forests, these pilgrims went to a place known as Panchakroshi Vrindavan. Out of the 12 forests, the Vrindavan forest extends from the town of Vrindavan up to Nandagram and Barsana, a distance of 32 miles, within which the Panchakroshi Vrindavan town is situated. So Vrindavan contains Nandagaon and Barsana. Vrindavan Govind Sthane Mahadevalaya Se Mandire Gopalera Mahasevakaya. In the village of Panchakroshi Vrindavan, at the site where the Govinda temple is now situated, there was a great temple where gorgeous worship of Gopal was performed. केशी तीर्थ कालिया हृदय के कैला स्नान Shri Gopal देखी तहाँ करीला विश्राम. After taking baths at different bathing places along the river Yamuna, such as Keshi Ghat and Kalia Ghat, the pilgrims visited the temple of Gopal. Afterwards, they took rest in that temple. So these places along the river Keshi Ghat, Kali Ghat, these are and the Vrindavan Parikrama. When we do Vrindavan Parikrama, these places are there. Gopal Sundarya Duhar Mana Nilahari Sukh Paya Rahe Taha Din Dui Chahari. The beauty of the Gopal deity stole away their minds, and feeling great happiness, they remained there for 2 or 4 days. दुई विप्र मध्य एक विप्र वृद्ध प्राय आर विप्र युवा तार करे न सहाय. One of the two Brahmins was an old man, and the other was young. The young man was assisting the old one. So he was just assisting, helping, serving him without expecting anything in return. छोट विप्र करे सदा तहार सेवान तहार सेवाए विप्रेर तुष्ट है लमान. Indeed, the young Brahman always rendered service to the older one, and the old man, being very satisfied with his service, was pleased with him. Viprabale tumi mor bahu seva kaila sahaya haya more tirtha karaila. The older man told the younger, "You have rendered various types of service to me. You have assisted me in traveling to all these places of pilgrimage. पुत्रेयो पितार आइछे न करे सेवान तोमार प्रसादे आमी न पाइलामा श्रama. Even my own son does not render such service. By your mercy, I did not become fatigued while on this tour." कृतघ्नता हया तुम्हाय न कैले सम्मान अतएव तुम्हाय आमी दिव्य कन्यादान. If I did not show you any respect, I would be ungrateful. Therefore, I promise to give you my daughter in charity. So, Kanyadan. And sometimes and these days in movies or in TV shows or advertisements, they say, why Kanyadan? Daughter is not some kind of property that you can give in charity. So why do this Kanyadan? See, in Vedic scriptures, it is the meaning of Kanyadan is, of course, she's not like a commodity, and but when they say dan, this is considered a very high level of charity, and the girl is supposed to go from one house to other, and that is her right house, and she changes the gotra, her gotra also gets changed, and then she makes that house or the vansh grow in that family. It's not just commodity understanding. This is the modern day understanding, which they don't want to read the scriptures to understand the idea behind it. And also, this is not some kind of contract marriage or a contract union that you stay there as long as you can and otherwise you get out of there. No, this is according to Vedic scriptures, this relationship. Some say it goes on for 7 lifetimes. This is how strong this relationship is. And it's very pure and very honorable celebrations. And these days they are just this marriage whole thing. They have made it so cheap, and it's more like a social gathering for people to come and drink and eat meat and all sorts of nonsense. I know when I was in Delhi at Delhi Temple, and we had the auditorium and the Govinda's restaurant, and people would come ask us to book the auditorium and Govinda's to perform wedding because they were happy that all this supposedly so-called drunkards and hooligans, they won't show up, at least not for the wedding part, because wedding is supposed to be very, very pure ritual, pure process. And with both husband and wife, they're taking vows, how to live together. If somebody explains properly the yajna that is going on and the vows are being exchanged or taken, and they should live according to those vows. They're taking the vow in the temple, in front of Agni, and yajna. No yajna is complete without Vishnu being present. Lord Vishnu, Brahman is there, other devotees and relatives are there. So they're taking vows in front of them, not an ordinary thing. So, so the Brahman, elder Brahman said, so therefore I promise to give you my daughter in charity. Chota Vipra kahe shuna Vipra Mahashaya, Asambhava kahe kaina, yei nahi haya. The younger Brahman replied, my dear sir, please hear me. You're saying something very unusual. Such a thing never happens. Why? Mahakulin tumi vidya dhanadi praveen. Ami akulin ar dhan vidya hina. You are a most aristocratic family man, well educated and very rich. I'm not at all aristocratic, and I'm without a decent education and have no wealth. So, due to pious activities, one can be enriched by four opulences. So, this we are reading in Bhagavad Gita also. One may obtain birth in an aristocratic family, become highly educated, become very beautiful, or get a great quantity of riches. So, this can happen due to pious activity or due to yoga also. And yoga means uh, short progress, a short duration of yoga. These are symptoms of pious activities performed in one's past life. In India, it is still current for an aristocratic family never to consider a marriage with a common family. Though the caste may be the same, to maintain the aristocracy, such marriages are rejected. No poor man will dare marry the daughter of a rich man. Only happens in the movies. Generally, it doesn't happen. Because of this, when the elderly Brahman offered the young Brahman his daughter, the young Brahman did not believe that it would be possible to marry her. Therefore, he asked the elderly Brahman why he was proposing something unprecedented, asambhav. It was unheard of for an aristocratic person to offer his daughter to a person who was both uneducated and poor. But the elder Brahman was happy with his service attitude. कन्यादान पात्रामी नाहि तुम्हारा Krishna prite kari tomar seva vyavahara. Sir, I'm not a suitable bridegroom for your daughter. I render service to you only for the satisfaction of Krishna. So both Brahmins were pure Vaishnavas. The younger man took special care of the older one simply to please Krishna. Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Puja Bhyadika. It is better to render service to my devotee. Thus, according to the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is better to be a servant of the servant of God. One should not try to serve Krishna directly. A pure Vaishnava serves as a servant of Krishna and identifies himself as a servant of Krishna. This is pleasing to Lord Krishna. So this is the way to please Krishna, actually. Srila Narottam Das Thakur confirms this philosophy. Chadiya Vaishnav Seva Nistara Keva. Unless one serves a liberated Vaishnav, he cannot attain liberation by directly serving Krishna. He must serve the servant of Krishna. Prabhupada has given one example that if you go to a house, a very big man's house, and the big man has a dog, so if you want to please that big man, please the dog. So dog is very dear to big man. So if the dog is happy with you, then big man will be happy. So, of course, in this case, dog means faithful servant here also. So for Krishna, if we serve his faithful servant, he'll be very pleased. He'll be more pleased if we serve him directly. Brahman sevai Krishnera priti badahaya, tahara santoshe bhakti sampada badahaya. Lord Krishna is very much pleased by service rendered to Brahmins. And when the Lord is pleased, the opulence of one's devotional service increases. So in this regard, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that the younger Brahman rendered service to the older one with the purpose of pleasing Krishna. It was not a matter of ordinary worldly dealings. Krishna is pleased when a Vaishnava is rendered service. Because the younger Brahman served the older one, Lord Gopal agreed to become a witness of the marriage negotiation in order to maintain the prestige of both devotees. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would certainly not have liked to hear about marital dealings unless such dealings were exchanged between two Vaishnavas. So obviously he would not be interested in hearing, okay, two people getting married. Who cares? Marriage arrangements and ceremonies belong to ordinary material karmakanda sections of the scriptures. Vaishnavas, however, are not interested in any kind of karmakanda dealings. Srila Narottam Das Thakur says, karmakanda, jnanakanda, keval vishera bhand. Means they have only wish, nothing spiritual. For a Vaishnava, the karmakanda and jnanakanda sections of the Vedas are unnecessary. Indeed, a real Vaishnava takes these sections as a poison pot, Vishera Bhanda. Sometimes we take part in a marriage ceremony for our disciples, but this does not mean that we are interested in karmakanda activities. Sometimes, not knowing the Vaishnava philosophy, an outsider criticizes such activity, maintaining that a sannyasi should not take part in a marriage ceremony between a young boy and a young girl. So yes, technically he should not, but Prabhupada was on a different level. However, this is not a karma kanda activity because our purpose is to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. We are giving all facility to the general populace to take to Krishna consciousness, and in order to fix the devotees in concentration on the service of the Lord, marriage is sometimes allowed. So grihastha is also an ashram. So if boy and girl, they want to enter grihastha ashram, then this should be allowed, facility should be provided. Because the idea is to make progress spiritually in the ashram, as a grihastha ashram. We have experienced that such married couples actually render very important service to the mission. Therefore, one should not misunderstand when a sannyasi takes part in a marriage ceremony. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu took great pleasure in hearing about the marriage ceremony between the young Brahman and the daughter of the elderly Brahman. And also, Grihastha ashram is very, very important, because from this ashram we'll get brahmacharis or vanprasthis or sannyasi or grihasthas also later on. Where else are they going to come from? So it's a very important ashram, provided it is kept as an ashram. That is more important. Otherwise, it's a grihmedi place. So anyway, we'll stop here, study tomorrow further the story of Sakshi Gopal. So we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, this Vaitarni river का जो जिक्र आया है इसमें, is it the same which गरुड़ पुराण में भी आता है इसका Vaitarni river का?
Vaitarni river.
Yeah, I think second shloka of this chapter only. First or second.
इस chapter का?
हाँ, इसी chapter में आया ना Vaitarni river के, but I think second shloka only.
Mahanadi river, I remember, not Vaitarni.
Mahanadi, Vaitarni.
Oh, Yajapur on the river Vaitarni.
So this Vaitarni river का जो है ना, ये गरुड़ पुराण में भी आता है. But you have to cross Vaitarni river. If I'm not
that
wrong.
is Viracha river, nahi?
नहीं, Vaitarni है sir.
I have to find out more.
अच्छा, ठीक है. Okay.
क्योंकि Cuttack is at Mahanadi river. I didn't notice this. Yajpur on the river Vaitarni. Okay, I have to find out.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mata. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri